Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the beautiful Caribbean island of Antigua. We are at VC Bird International Airport. This is Sim Update 10, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, I haven't flown this airplane in a while, and my reasoning for not flying this airplane was I should start getting back into flying airplanes that I fly on a regular basis, like in real life. But I tried doing that earlier today, and the results were marginal at best. I'll talk about that a little bit as we go on.
System test. Okay. Oral warning. Okay.
The Cessna 152, which is my favorite airplane to fly in here. Let's go up into low idle here at 15 NG. NGs are coming up. IT's looking good. Looking for a hot start or a hung start. Both are looking just fine. NG's up into the green. Let's go to high idle. Alright, let's go. I'm going to turn panel lights on just a little bit. Should have turned my rotating beacon on before we got going. Let's go autopilot on. Let's go oxygen on. Let's go bleed on. Auto. Alright, let's have a look here real quick at what's going on. PFD settings. Yeah, that's what we want right there. 22.8 because we don't have anybody to talk to except for our good friends, the fellow pilot. Let's go. Flight plan. Yeah, it's all looking great. Alright, so that's all looking good. Let's okay. There we go. Alright, let's set the altitude. Let's set put 8,000 in to start. Let's engage the brakes, release the parking brake. Nav and strobe lights on, taxi light on, excuse me. And we do need, let's see, chart's gonna say here, let's go down, we'll go down to alpha. Alright, so, oh, whoops, no, you can't do that, you gotta do this, there you go. That is one thing. I had forgotten. Okay, so if I only forget one thing on this flight, I'll feel pretty good about it. Alright. VC Bird traffic, TBM 930 Mike Romeo, taxiing to runway 07 via taxiway Alpha, VC Bird. And this is one of my favorite payware airports. It's a really beautifully done airport. Not so sure you'll get the best view of it right now, but awesome rendition So, first impressions of Sim Update 10. Visually, I think it looks fantastic. Performance has been pretty darn good. The only thing that I have had any issue with is the low-level turbulence is brutal in the Cessna 152. I had I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see, because a lot of people talked about turbulence being a problem earlier. Before this sim update, I did not think it was a problem. I mean, it was certainly more than it had been in the past. But I didn't think it was anything dramatic. And now it is just crazy. So I'll be interested to see what other people have to say. But I will say that DX12 is working for me, whereas in the past I couldn't use it. It just wasn't feasible. It would stutter just relentlessly. Alright, so we are here at the runway. Have we set our altimeters? No, we have not. Let's see, 3006, I believe is what it is. 3006. And 1018 on this side. And we're pretty much ready to go. I don't see any traffic coming in. I don't see any traffic on the iPad or on the iPad or the G3000, so we should be good to go. Okay, so flight controls are looking good. Always the last thing I check. Okay, flight controls are free and correct. Okay, VC Bird traffic, TBM 9030, Mike Romeo taking runway 07 for departure to the north, VC Bird. Alright, so let's meander our way out onto the runway here. Okay. Takeoff flaps are set. Let's see, the oxygen is on. Max diff or auto on the bleed. Alright, heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots and rotate. Positive rate. Gears coming up. And 15 knots. Flaps coming up. Start backing off on the torque there a little bit. And they like us to make an early turn out here to stay away from that beautiful island here off the end of the runway. VC bird traffic, TBM 930 Mike Romeo, left to crosswind departure off runway 07, departing to the north, VC bird. Now that is a sharp looking airplane, is it not? I really have a hard time not looking at this thing. It's just gorgeous. Alright, we'll continue on our left turn here. Transition altitude 2,500 feet. So we'll come down to 29902 and we'll come down to 1013. Alright, let's go autopilot, altitude mode, vertical speed mode. Let's go altitude. And vertical speed mode. I don't know if I'd call myself behind the airplane right now, but I'm definitely not as sharp as I would like to be. And I'll tell you one thing that is definitely really impressive are the clouds. The clouds look just unbelievable. So we'll climb at 170 knots. And we'll set it now for 16,000. Alright. I haven't flown this airplane in a long time. Let's see. Differential PSI is good. Cabin is pressurizing. Fuel quantity is good. Oil temperature, oil pressure, both good. Everything is looking good. Climbing to 16,000. Looking pretty nice, I would say. Climbing 310, 10,000. Turn our landing light off if we had turned it on, which we did not. So. Missions on auto, boost pumps on auto, fuel selectors on auto, autopilot's on, oxygen is on, everybody can breathe, that's a good thing. Turn the fan on, cool us down a little bit. So, I mean, DX12 is supposedly the latest and greatest. I really don't know what the difference is, to be honest with you, in terms of what it in terms of what it actually does. So I suppose it's kind of pointless to even talk about it, but I wasn't able to use it at all in previous iterations of the sim, and now I can. So supposedly it's good. It's better than DX11, otherwise they probably wouldn't have developed it. And once again, you're very welcome for the least informational discussion on computer software that you will ever hear. You live at 1600. Alright, and the airport elevation is 14 feet. It's going to be nav enabled. So we've only got 6 minutes to the top of descent. Generally they say in this airplane, if you are flying less than, that's Nevis right there in St. Kitts, just to the north. If you're flying less than 100 miles, you should fly 10,000 feet. Flight planner gave me 16,000, which is fine. I would definitely kind of say that even if you see that right there, that's a little unstable for this airplane. I'm going to look at what the real world weather is here. I mean, weather right now at 16,000 feet is 098 at 10 knots. So, you know, I would have to say that the turbulence here is overdone. I don't know if it's going to give me air mets and sigmets down here, but I'll look. Theoretically it would, but there probably aren't any. Yeah, I just think this is overdone. So before we get too much into that, let's get the set this for 2,600 feet. What we're gonna need here is vertical speed mode at don't think it's gonna be. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, your captain is a clueless moron. Princess Juliana weather 07013 knots. Visibility greater than 6 miles. Scattered 1600. Altimeter 1020. 3012. Alright, so the good old Yaluba 1 arrival. Transition level is flight level 065, so keep an eye on that. You can definitely see a real jumpy airspeed indicator. I noticed that in the G1000 equipped G1000 equipped 172 as well. Alright, so let me get my flap numbers here again. Flaps 178, landing is 122. Alright, so I haven't flown this airplane in forever. So it's now giving me about 1,600 feet a minute to intercept Yaluba at the correct altitude, which would be the first, one of the first correct things I've done on this flight. Let's see here. Alright, down to 1,600 for the altitude. Alright, well. So, kind of more of the same here. Not saying I don't think it's possible for there to be turbulence on a plane, in an airplane like this, but it certainly wouldn't be this kind of turbulence. I don't believe. There is St. Bartholomew. That is Statia off to our left over there. Alright, let's take a look at the winds here at St. Martin. 3,000, it's 088 at 22 knots. So flight level 065 is the transition level, so let's set our altimeters. Transition level, remember, is for landing. Transition altitude is for departure. Why on earth you would have two different ones is for certain beyond my ability to comprehend, but they have it. Saba off there to our left. Definitely one of the cool things in this airplane is you could literally go over and just land at St. Bart's in an 850, well, it's probably 930 shaft horsepower. That's probably why they call it the TBM 930. If I had to venture a guess. Landing light is on. Alright, let's see any traffic out here. I do not. Which is a bit unusual for Friday night. Maybe everybody's got something better to do. I'm gonna level off here at 2600. One of the odd things of this, I don't quite understand the Uluba one arrival. Spec vectors to the VOR Zulu 10. VOR Zulu 10 is... That's the thing, is the VOR Zulu doesn't... The only connecting point between the Uluba 1 arrival and the VOR Zulu approach that I can find anyway is Uluba. Usually an approach will have a connection between, you know, it'll have a common waypoint. I mean, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So we're gonna go vertical speed mode here. And we'll just start coming down casually. Princess Juliana traffic, TBM 930 Mike Romeo is 5 miles to the south, inbound for landing, runway 10, Juliana. Alright, so... let's start bringing the power back here. Missed approach just climbed to 4,000, so we'll set that in. It's in altitude mode, so we don't have to wait any longer. Alright, and just gonna let the speed bleed off here just a little bit. Somebody just above us here. Alright, there's 178. Let's go first notch of flaps. And that's gonna definitely start. That's another thing I saw before, is the white... Oops. I don't know what happened right there. Well, let's see here. Juliana traffic, TBM 930 Mike Romeo, turning a 10-mile final, runway 10, Juliana. There's Anguilla. first time I've seen that white. So that last one again is 122. Alright. So you bring the torque back to about 23. Okay, landing light is on. Gear's gonna come down here in a second. There's one white. Princess Juliana traffic. TBM 930 Mike Romeo is on a 5-mile final runway 10 Princess Juliana. Alright, airplane is mine. And may this be boring. About 85 knots. About what I want. 85 and 450. Looks like a bit of a right crosswind. Little bit low. Juliana traffic TBM 930 Mike Romeo short final runway 10 Juliana. Not the world's greatest landing. I think the turbulence and the gusting is just a bit overdone. I really do, unfortunately. Flaps coming up. Princess Juliana, traffic TBM 9030 Mike Romeo's, clear the runway, Juliana. Let's turn the landing light off. My poor dog is sick of sitting here watching me fly. Okay. Let's go over to this side. Throttle idle cutoff. Let's put the parking brake on. Alright. Turn the bleed off. Let's go auxiliary boost pump off. Autopilot off. Ignition off. And let's turn all of our lights off. Let's turn the oxygen off. And let's bring the crash bars down. So, performance is definitely good. I mean, this is DX12, which I haven't even been able to use before. So definitely some improvements there, but really jittery, kind of in terms of the gusting and the when you saw the airspeed just kind of jitter in cruise. Now, and you know, when you're making an approach and it's windy, etc., that's fine. But definitely a little bit odd. So